Hi, this is Robert with Fit Reno. Today we're going to use our block time to introduce the topic of Muay Thai fighting. A lot of people don't know what Muay Thai fighting is, so I brought in a top expert in the field that I personally know, Bunnell. Zach, welcome to our show today.
How you doing, brother?
I'm always doing good, my man. Now, Zach is a Muay Thai fighter. He also fights MMA, but his pride and joy is Muay Thai. And I've watched his career over the last few years kind of come up from the beginning to where it's at right now. And man, what a joy it is to watch and how impressive it is to see it when it's all put together. So Zach, tell me a little bit about Muay Thai and its separation from boxing, maybe kickboxing, which you would find in Holland or something like that, which would be more karate style, I think, or something. Break down Muay Thai so the people out there listening today will get a good difference of a breakdown from someone who's actually in your shoes doing it.
So, it's actually a great question because it's something a lot of people struggle with here, stateside especially, is differentiating what is MMA, kickboxing, and Thai boxing. The term Thai boxing is somewhat of a household term nowadays because of MMA and because MMA, you know, the primary striking art in MMA is Thai boxing, a lot of Western boxing, but that's where a lot of people have heard the term Thai boxing. And now with the rise of kickboxing on Spike TV and Glory, a lot more people are getting exposed to kickboxing and exposed to the term Thai boxing more and more and more. It's important that people know the differences between each. Now, speaking to the art of Thai boxing itself, it's a stand-up only martial art, but everything's incorporated into it. So elbows, knees, clinching. Clinching's legal, unlike kickboxing and boxing, where the clinch is broken. In Thai boxing, you're promoted to clinch where you score most of your points, which is elbows, knees, and dumps. So takedowns are actually allowed in Thai boxing. Just where the big separation is between MMA and Thai boxing is once the fight or a fighter hits the ground, it's stood right back to the feet and you continue on the feet. There's no ground fighting whatsoever. And obviously the big difference between kickboxing and Thai boxing is Thai boxing you're allowed to continue the clinch and you're allowed to throw elbows. Kickboxing, the clinch isn't allowed. It's not illegal, but they break it immediately when it happens, and elbows aren't allowed to be thrown.
I have a personal question for you. You know, since I followed your career with it, I have picked up a lot of extra videos that I've watched, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, since that's, you know, a really good access to those things now. A lot of Muay Thai fighters seem to take a lot of punishment because, as I look at the sport, it almost is a mano-a-mano thing. Like, okay, I'm going to kick you, and okay, I took your kick, now take mine. Okay, yeah. Now I took yours, now take a little one harder, and let's see who can almost wear each other. Not that someone doesn't get knocked out, or that isn't the goal to finish the fight, but I see a lot of abuse, technically, in these fights. I mean, it is unreal how these guys are savagely just seeing who can take whose best strike. I mean, now explain that, because that's what I see.
So, traditionally in Thai boxing, and you know, so if you break it down into the three combative sports, which are boxing, traditional Western boxing, Thai boxing, and MMA, in my personal opinion, I think the most detrimental to one's health is by far Western boxing, hands down. You sustain the most head punishment. The fights are the longest. You know, fighters at the end of their career definitely take the most head trauma from Western boxing by far, and so they come out a lot worse for the wear at the end of their careers. However, as far as brutality goes, and as far as overall damage to one's body, Thai boxing, in my personal opinion, is second to none.
Mine too. And
to his point, reason being is because there's a mentality that's kind of been instilled in Thai boxing from its birth, which is that of, you know, the spectator over in Thailand, where the sport originated. They're very much so into the heart of a fighter. They like to see how much heart someone has. Of course, they love their, you know, their slick fighters who dip, you know, dodge, don't get hit, counter back, but what they like to see much more is someone put their heart on display with their skill. They like to see come from behind stories. They like to see someone getting beat up and then all of a sudden mount a huge comeback and take it back to the other person. They like to see two people stand there and the tougher wins. Obviously, they love to see technique and they love people that display pretty technique, but they also, it's very, very important for the fighter to display how much heart they have. So in that, you get two people basically trying to wear their heart on their sleeve in a fight and trying to show like, hey, I'm tougher than you are. I'm going to take more punishment and give more punishment than you could. So you get a lot more action, I suppose.
Yeah, that is absolutely no lie. Now, when you follow these, it's coming stateside a little bit more, like you say. So, you know, I don't know. Reno has a few, obviously, fights. You have fought local here, Muay Thai and MMA. And I know, is it WCW? Am I correct with that? WFC, excuse me. That Matt McGovern's place he does over at the GSR. So you guys keep tabs on that. Whenever you see that particular organization, check it, see if Zach's going to be on the card, so that way you can see him fight here locally. Now you also, I believe, fight with Lion. Is that correct? Or you have fought with Lion anyway?
Yeah.
Down in Las Vegas. Going down there would also be a good time to see a fight as well. What other organizations, or like say San Francisco or San Jose, are there places, you know, that put on actual events for Muay Thai fighting? Because I know a lot of the places around here pretty much stand or the fights have usually, up to maybe recently anyway, have been pretty much just MMA and or boxing.
Right.
You know, so are there places that just do Muay Thai specifically?
Yeah, so it's not a very common thing here stateside that you see a promotion that will put on solely Thai boxing fights, which is very understandable, seeing as Thai boxing isn't a sport that's ever really been that big here stateside, or anywhere outside of Thailand really. So I think promoters are going about it in a more gentle way. There's very few Thai boxing cards here in the States that are solely Muay Thai, because not a lot of people are educated to what Thai boxing is right now. And I feel like for the most part, promoters are doing a good job of educating the public and educating people on what Thai boxing is by doing things like throwing mixed cards, where everybody knows stateside what MMA or what boxing is, because we've grown up with it.
Right.
So promoters are starting to add Thai boxing, traditional Thai boxing fights to their card, which is getting advertisement through to the public by also having MMA fights, which everybody knows. Everybody knows what MMA is, so they may come to watch MMA and see Thai boxing because they're throwing these mixed cards, and in turn, you know, spark their interest in, oh wow, that Thai boxing fight was extremely action-packed, and they actually find that they like Thai boxing just as much as they like MMA or like Western boxing, and that's starting to pull the general public into what Thai boxing is and giving them a much better education on it through these mixed cards. And so hopefully here in the future you start to see a lot more shows like Lion fights that are just solely Thai boxing. So hopefully here in the near future, people start to get a much better education on what Thai boxing is, and it starts to garner much more interest.
That's awesome. We're going to cut out our show right here, but I'm going to get a few things for you real quick. Is Zach will also meet with people, do consultation. He does instruction himself on this. If you would like to contact him personally, how is the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of me by far is Facebook, just under my name, Zach Bunnell. Shoot me a message. Best way to get a hold of me. I'll get in contact with you, and you can get something going from there.
Absolutely. Give him a call, do a private consultation with him, learn a little bit more about Muay Thai, have him take you through a workout. So it's an awesome workout. It's one of the best conditions. Even if you've never planned to even use it or fight with it, it's a phenomenal workout, especially when you're using the proper techniques. You use the body a totally different way than you do with boxing or MMA, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, any of that. So pick up the phone, give him a call, get him on Facebook, or you contact me here at Fit Reno, and I can get a hold of Zach for you if need be. Set up an appointment with you as well. So thank you for joining us on the Fit Reno show today. I'm Rob. I'm out of here. Have a good day.